3 things that you need to know if you're looking at getting a parrot. Hi, I'm Kaylin, the author of the Parrot Bliss Bond. Please be sure to get your copy on Amazon so you have your handbook for your new parrot so that you know everything you need to give them a quality life so you can have quantities of bliss. This is Indy, my little parrotlet, and he is taking a rest. So what are the 3 things, and I'm going to give you a little extra one, that you need to know if you are getting a parrot? There are things that hopefully you already know, like they can live a long time. Indy, for example, should have a lifespan of, they say 20 years. I think like 15 to 20 is probably more like it. And I guess it depends on which site you look at it or who you ask, kind of thing. But number 1, these little feathers or big feathers, they will steal your heart. I have 18 species of parrots, everything from the smallest in captivity, or second smallest parrot, to the second to largest, which is a macaw parrot, and they all just steal your heart. You don't know when it happened, you don't know how it happened, but you belong to them. Number 2, they will bite everything. Everything. They have powerful hook bills, as they're called, and it's too bad Indy's showing you his beautiful backside. Otherwise, you could see his hook bill. And their hook bills, oh, are you gonna, no, you're still gonna hide. Their hook bills are very strong. They're really good at breaking wood, breaking things down. I think that's their job in nature. So they will break down anything with wood. If you have a rocking chair, if you have a chair, if you have kitchen cabinets, you have to be careful. Small parrots tend to be less capable of doing too much damage. Big parrots can, they could probably eat a wooden house. And the 3 little pigs, the house that was made out of wood, if there was a parrot there, that little pig would have no house. Now, ever so quickly, an infomercial for myself. Please make sure that you get TINK'S Parrot Relief. It is CBD in hemp oil, extremely beneficial for your parrot, available on parrotbliss.com. If your parrot is stressed out, or if you have a parrot like my yellow-naped Amazon who was fed seeds and seeds for years and years before I had her, I adopted her as an adult. She has weak bones. She has fatty arteries. Then milk thistle is really good for liver, but CBD is really beneficial because it has the proper balance of omegas, and that's one of the ways that the medical community will correct improper fatty balances in your body. So really beneficial. All right, by the way, back to number 2. So parrots really, really like wood, and these don't look like wood, these fingers, and yet they will bite. They bite everything, and you're a part of everything. If you've got a book, they'll bite it. If you've got a pen, they'll bite it. I don't want to wiggle too much. If you've got a necklace, they will bite it. So that's something you have to really know. I'm not focusing on the care that they take. And what I mean by that is that they require fresh vegetables, so you have to get them their pellets. You have to research what kind of parrot you have and get them the proper food. But on top of that, you have to feed them fresh vegetables every day. And depending on, what vegetables you have in your house and that kind of thing, it can be a little troublesome. Sometimes I cook for my parrots. So they're a very involved pet. Now, number 3, you want to develop a relationship with your parrot. If you don't spend time with your parrot, like if you have a busy life, a parrot, it's not really the kind of bird that just sits in a cage and it's pretty to look at. That's going to make for a very sad, lonely parrot, a parrot that might pluck its feathers out because it's all stressed out, in which case you'll end up getting some CBD, but you also want to, take care of the problem. And the problem is parrots, they're really intelligent. They really like to engage. They're extremely social. And so being left by themselves in a cage all the time is really, I can't think of a worse torture kind of thing. So you really want to develop a relationship with your parrot. And like any relationship that you've ever had in your life that's worth anything, it really takes some putting some time in. It takes some being patient. It takes some understanding. Parrots are amazing, complex creatures, highly intelligent. And it's interesting. They may not think the way you and I do, and they don't, but they certainly perceive. They certainly assess things. They certainly observe things. They do things like use tools. They figure things out. You know, one of our African Greys, if you give her something like a peanut or a walnut, one of the first things she does is she takes it in her foot and she scratches her head to see if it's a good nut. Don't ask me why that's a good measure of a nut, but for Adonis, it is. So, you know, they really have personalities, and you have to develop a relationship with them. And just like any relationship, you know, I mean, sometimes there's a Romeo and Juliet and you click like this and like that, you're already bonded and you're like best friends forever or lovers forever, that kind of thing. But generally speaking, that's not the way it is with parrots, just like generally speaking, that's not the way it is in your relationships with humans. Instead, it's a relationship that you have to develop, and you have to kind of like give and take, and they bite everything. So your parrot might bite you a lot, and you have to kind of work your way through that. You have to try to work at why they're biting you and work on getting them past that. Sometimes it's because they're young and they're going through like a nippy phase. Sometimes it's because they're trying to get your attention. Sometimes they're mad because you did leave them in their cage by themselves, and maybe they really need a companion because they aren't meant to be by themselves. And so, you know, I feel like sometimes parrots just, they get mad. Just like if we left a child by themselves for a day or something, they'd be mad, they'd be hurt, they'd be upset. You know, in some ways, parrots have needs just like we do, and in some ways they're no different than we are, in the sense that they need that family, they need that companionship, they need that love. Hey, sweetie, what are you doing? Are you getting all nice and comfy? It's a cold, relatively speaking. I'm in Florida. It's never that cold, but rainy day. And my parrots had been quiet. Now I can hear them downstairs. But it's just sort of like a fall cuddle up in your nest and be cozy kind of day. So I'm wearing my sweater and Indy's wearing, I guess, me. So you really, you know, you have to develop a relationship. When you get a cat or a dog, I'm not saying you don't have to develop a relationship with them, but I'm saying it's more of that insta bond. You can sleep all night and then you can go to work during the day, and your cat or your dog, they're fine. You know, you don't come back and they're like, you haven't been paying attention to me. Hi, what's up? See, there's a really good example. That nipping was, hey, I want some pets. Give me some pets. So I'm giving him some pets, and now he's happy. Hi, sweetie. It's a relationship like any human relationship, that it does take some constant time. In other words, it's not like you can go a month without being around your bird. You know, like when people have to travel, it's very hard on their parrots. So if you travel a lot or you travel frequently, that, you know, a parrot may not be a good pet for you, because when you come back, they may be really nippy every time. On the other hand, if you treat them like any other good friend and you're spending time with them and you're seeing them, you know, you're spending time with them every day, maybe 5-6 days out of the week, then you start to develop a relationship. And like any relationship or anything that you put time and effort into, school, work, you know, your art, anything, it gets very deep, it gets very bonded, it gets very intimate. It's an incredible relationship. On one of my videos, somebody replied and they said, you know, I have cats and dogs, and or I've had them, I don't remember if she has them now, but the point is, and she goes, and it's just, I love them, but it's just not the same. And it really isn't the same. Because parrots, in some ways, they're more like us, because I think because of their intelligence. And I've met some really intelligent, perceptive dogs. I had a dog that was incredible, but parrots are just different. because of that, I feel like we have a different experience with them. So a very incredible connection and a very incredible bond. You just have to be really willing to put in the time. Last thing that I'm going to tell you is bonus. They are messy, just like any relationship where you have to like clean up any fights, or I don't know what you might have to clean up. You really have to, oh, if you have parties with your friends. Parrots are the same. They have a party every day. Everything's always a mess. If you have a seed eater, there's seed shells everywhere. If you have a nut eater, there's nuts everywhere. If you don't, and if you have a parrot that doesn't, like an Amazon that doesn't really eat seeds or nuts, please don't eat my necklace. You still have to clean up. They're still messy, messy, messy animals. But just like any other relationship, so worth it. So sweet, so loving, so adorable, so amazing, so incredible, so multifaceted, just phenomenal. And I believe that they can make for one of the most incredible experiences and one of the best friends you'll have in your life, because although they're loud, really loud, little guys like this aren't quite, that loud, but so loud that they can damage your hearing depending on the species. They're not all like that, but some are. They're so loud, but somehow or another, it's like they're good listeners because, like I said, they make like the very best friends. So here's to you having a blissful bond if you're looking at getting a parrot. I have some other videos, which I'll try to remember to post a link to down below, on what my choices would be for like under $1,000, under $500. I have 3 or 4 categories, so I'll post those links below if you're looking at getting a parrot. Thanks for joining me in this blissful little type video. I will catch you next time when I will have a different set of feathers on my shoulder. See you next time.